Hello viewers, and welcome to another brief news update this week. News updates are something I plan to do more regularly on a weekly basis. I was doing them on a Friday, might move them to a Monday now, or maybe a Wednesday, you let me know. But a couple of things I wanted to go over with you guys. Obviously, Assetto Corsa is coming along. They've shown a new screenshot over the past week, showing lots of cars in action, looking very nice. It was a game that was originally due out last year, as we see in this video here. It's still looking really great. It was a game that was due out last year, but they delayed it to this year, and of course they're still working on it, securing licenses for racetracks, some of the cars, everything else. Looking very nice, looking very detailed at the moment. The in-car experience here, racing with a Pagani Huayra, looks fantastic, has to be said. Though one of the things that I'm noticing is that there's not enough steering wheel movement at the moment. It's something that a lot of developers have a similar problem with. I've noticed for Forza Motorsport 5 and with this game, when someone's steering the wheel, it's very smooth, it's very calm, and what I find is that the steering hands are not translating the bumps. So when you're driving, you're hitting a bump and everything else, and the car's like that, it's vibrating constantly. So you've got vibration, you've got bumps and everything else that the car's going over. You've got that tactile feedback. I find that tactile feedback is communicated to the wheels and the suspension, but it's not going through the car into the steering wheel. So you're getting this smooth motion rather than the turning and the bumping that comes with that sort of acceleration and braking that comes with that kind of movement. And so you're losing a certain intensity. And I hope the developers can pick up on that and really work on producing something that's a bit more accurate from the steering wheel in relation to the wheels on the road. And it's something at the moment does look very calm. But either way, Assetto Corsa is going to be amazing. We're looking forward to trying that later in the year. They've also been testing it with Oculus Rift. This is very exciting. We saw it recently from the CXC simulations. We see it here being used by the guys at Assetto Corsa. Something I really am very keen on testing with racing games. I've been testing it myself recently in an event. I'm going to have a video about that as well. I've been using a space simulation, but either way, it was amazing. You do look an idiot when you wear it, but who cares? Once you put that helmet on and you put those goggles on, shall I say, and you put the headphones on, wow, it's a step beyond anything you've tried before. I would probably say that I wouldn't do extended sessions. If I'm doing an endurance race or anything like that, I probably wouldn't, or a long gaming session, I probably wouldn't wear it all the time. It's a bit isolating when you're actually wearing it because you do get sucked into that world. But certainly as the technology goes, absolutely fantastic at this stage, and it's something I'll be looking into in the future once they bring out the 1080p version. It was shown at E3, looks really good, can't wait to try it myself. The potential is huge for that device. Elsewhere, of course, we've had MotoGP coverage. Lots of that have been up on the channel. Lots more still to come as well. And there's a very divided opinion on biking games. I don't think anything's going to change that. There'll never be a biking game that pleases everybody. It's just not going to happen. It's different to driving. You've got the actual controls in playing a driving game. With a bike, you haven't. And some people say, hey, handlebars. Well, you could use the PlayStation Move. That works very well with a handlebar device. But the reality is that it's not just the handlebars, it's your body weight, it's everything else, it's the feel of the bike, and you just don't get any of that through a game. So it's very hard communicating weight and suspension and tyre temperature and everything else with what you have. But there is a lot in there, and there is a lot of tyre information and simulation going on in there, and I think really it's for you to work with it, find the handling that suits you, find the rider that suits you and the riding style, and see how you build upon that. But it does take some practice. I've been enjoying it, and there'll be more on that on the channel very soon as well. There's also been a lot of E3. You'll have seen lots of this on the channel. I've been playing bits and bobs, and I'll be doing a recap over all the videos I've been covering over the past few weeks. Of course, I've wanted to share all the videos with you guys before coming to conclusions, and then that way I can say, right, we've seen this and this, and the conclusion is this at the moment. So there is more on that to come. We've got a Gran Turismo video coming as well, Silverstone. That should be good. Finally, a fair few laps on Silverstone there, which is looking good at the moment. Hopefully a replay of that as well, of Nissan Delta Wing. We've also got some other stuff coming in terms of some MotoGP on Vita as well that you'll be seeing. So we'll have some of that on the channel. And of course, recent news, there was also NASCAR the Game 2013, which has been announced. We haven't been able to cover it the past couple of years. I've tried to cover the previews and then not had any communication when it's come to the final game and testing it and reviewing it and everything else. So hopefully this year it's going to be different. So there's lots to look forward to on the channel, lots of new content on the way. Do tell me what you would like to see. I try to communicate as much of that as possible on the forum because it's much easier for me to follow what people do on the forum rather than over the videos, because of course there are hundreds of videos, so it does help if you just post it on there. If there's stuff you'd like to see on the channel, stuff you'd like to see me testing, or just have a chat with me about some of the new games, I'm always on there, and it's good to get your feedback. So that's it for the gaming news for this blog. And of course, now finally I mentioned about Le Mans this weekend. I love Le Mans. It's always a wonderful event, a wonderful occasion, a celebration of motorsport, but there is a certain heritage to Le Mans that hasn't changed, a feeling of old. And it's fantastic. Really is the excitement building up to the race this year. And of course, it was nice to see Toyota taking it to the Audis better than obviously last year. They were unlucky, and it's a shame Peugeot is gone, it has to be said, but we look forward to the day when Toyota are going to be really on level pegging with Audi. I mean, we always felt that Audi had something in hand, and if it wasn't for the technical problems, Toyota probably wouldn't have been able to compete. But it was great to see them in there. It was great to see Anthony Davidson work his way up onto the podium, get that second place. Fantastic for him after his terrible crash last year when he broke his back. I say broke his back, when he cracked a vertebrae, something like that. And it was a long time recovery, and getting back in the car. He has a crash like that again and he could be in serious trouble. And he was very brave. He fought against those demons and he got a good result. And lots of drivers have injuries, and it's the same with biking as well. I mean, half the riders on the grid have some broken bone somewhere, but they get out there and they know what they face and they do it. And there is always a risk. And unfortunately, Alan Simonson paid the ultimate price with that risk on the third lap of the race. Watching the race, seeing the crash at the time, it didn't look like the worst crash, We didn't see all the implications of it. And it's funny how sometimes crashes that don't look as bad are the really bad ones, where the car doesn't always take the impact. And of course, the barrier looks like it was broken as well, quite badly. So it did take a while to sort that out. There was a lot of safety cars in this race. There was a real mixed weather conditions that made it very tricky for the drivers, and unfortunately it was one of those things that conspired in Alan's accident on Sunday. And our thoughts are with the family and with the team as well in what is a very difficult time. And so we take this celebration of motorsport, but it always brings the ultimate price that the drivers pay in what they do. But I think in continuing racing, I think that is the celebration, the best celebration that Aston Martin could have done for Alan, because he loved motor racing and that's what he is. He was a driver. And as every driver knows, when you get in that car, you sign a piece of paper before you get in. That's your waiver. We always say comically, sign your life away before you get into the car and you go on the track. But ultimately, it is very dangerous. Motorsport is dangerous, and you always need to be aware of that. But that's all part of it. That's part of the risk. That's part of what you do. That's part of what you need to get that adrenaline and everything else. And sometimes it's a step too far. So, as I say, our thoughts are with Alan on this video, and I'd like to leave you with a few moments of that. And there'll be more from me very soon.